Welcome to Your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 907. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing a book but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, look for Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 20 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they can even turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published one. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. And once again, happy Sunday, everyone. As we do every Sunday here on the show, it is Sunday Story Time, where I grab a book off my bookshelf, whether it's one of my own books, a client book, or a book that has positively impacted me in some way. I read you an excerpt from that book, followed by some sort of question to apply it to your own work, which is the whole point of this show. Today I've chosen a book. It's the third category, a book that has positively impacted me in some way. It is called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. And this excerpt is from a section called An Amplified Existence. When I talk about creative living here, please understand that I am not necessarily talking about pursuing a life that is professionally or exclusively devoted to the arts. I'm not saying that you must become a poet who lives on a mountaintop in Greece, or that you must perform at Carnegie Hall, or that you must win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Though if you want to attempt any of these feats, by all means have at it. I love watching people swing for the bleachers. No, when I refer to creative living, I am speaking more broadly. I'm talking about living a life that is driven more strongly by curiosity than by fear. One of the coolest examples of creative living that I've seen in recent years, for instance, came from my friend Susan, who took up figure skating when she was 40 years old. To be more precise, she actually already knew how to skate. She had competed in figure skating as a child and had always loved it. But she'd quit the sport during adolescence when it became clear she didn't have quite enough talent to be a champion. Ah, lovely adolescence, when the talented are officially shunted off from the herd, thus putting the total burden of society's creative dreams on the thin shoulders of a few select souls, while condemning everyone else to live a more commonplace, inspiration-free existence. What a system. For the next quarter of a century, my friend Susan did not skate. Why bother if you can't be the best? Then she turned 40. She was listless. She was restless. She felt drab and heavy. She did a little soul searching, the way one does on the big birthdays. She asked herself when was the last time she'd felt truly light, joyous, and yes, creative in her own skin. To her shock, she realized that it had been decades since she'd felt that way. In fact, the last time she experienced such feelings had been as a teenager, back when she was still figure skating. She was appalled to discover that she had denied herself this life-affirming pursuit for so long, and she was curious to see if she still loved it. So she followed her curiosity. She bought a pair of skates, found a rink, hired a coach. She ignored the voice within her that told her she was being self-indulgent and preposterous to do this crazy thing. She tamped down her feelings of extreme self-consciousness at being the only middle-aged woman on the ice with all these tiny, feathery 9-year-old girls. She just did it. 3 mornings a week, Susan awoke before dawn, and in that groggy hour before her demanding day job began, she skated. And she skated and skated and skated. And yes, she loved it as much as ever. She loved it even more than ever because now, as an adult, she finally had the perspective to appreciate the value of her own joy. Skating made her feel alive and ageless. She stopped feeling like she was nothing more than a consumer, nothing more than a sum of her daily obligations and duties. She was making something of herself, making something with herself. It was a revolution, a literal revolution, as she spun to life again on the ice, revolution upon revolution upon revolution. Please note that my friend did not quit her job, did not sell her home, did not sever all her relationships and move to Toronto to study 70 hours a week with an exacting Olympic-level skating coach. And no, the story does not end with her winning any championship medals. It doesn't have to. In fact, this story does not end at all, because Susan is still figure skating, several mornings a week. simply because skating is still the best way for her to unfold a certain beauty and transcendence within her life that she cannot seem to access in any other manner. And she would like to spend as much time as possible in such a state of transcendence while she's still here on Earth. That's all. That's what I call creative living. And while the paths and outcomes of creative living will vary wildly from person to person, I can guarantee you this. A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting life. Living in this manner continually and stubbornly, bringing forth the jewels that are hidden within you, because creative living is where big magic will always abide. And that, again, is an excerpt from a really fantastic book, highly recommended read, Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'll make sure to put a link in the show notes. Hope you enjoyed that. And here's a simple question for you. What have you decided it's too late to do that you really want to do? What if it's not too late? What would you do about that starting today? Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Ink Authors group on Facebook, link in the show notes. Let us know how it's going, how we can support your writing goals. Until tomorrow, happy writing.